Welcome everyone to Beckoned Development Weekly Stream, episode 23. How is everybody doing? What's up, Richawasa? What's up, Reese? Yeah. Welcome back everybody on this Friday. Hope you guys been having an okay week. We got aliens. I should have talked more to Dwight about that when we started out here, but yeah, we've got aliens in the news. Oh, nuts.
You're on peyote again this week.
Again? I've never done peyote. No, the story is a Israeli...
You've got some settings on your side that are causing something messed up.
Clap them alien cheeks, right? But yeah, the story is an Israeli general that worked with their space defense, is 86 years old, retired, and came out saying that aliens are real, that we have some agreement with the U.S., that in the aliens, that we have a base on Mars, and Trump was going to tell everybody about it, but the aliens faulted him because they want to wait for us to understand what planets are and what spaceships are. So my brain's all kinds of creativity and sci-fi about all this today because, I mean, it's just it's a lot different type of news. But, do you believe it? Are you into it? Is it intelligence, disinformation? What's going on? Because so many people talked about, like, online, they've had since Roswell talking about things like that. And Rogan had a bunch of guys on his show for the past couple, 2 years, right at the peak of all of this and Space Force and all that. So you gotta start to think, hey, what's going on here? Is it a distraction? What is
there's too much misinformation out there to even know what's right, what's wrong.
It's just the advent that we're creating a game that happens on another planet, feasibly in the same universe, so kind of dealing with similar physics. So it's just I'm like, oh, what is your world like? What's it like? Even if it's real, it's just like my brain goes into those things. It's like, what's your world like?
Call them up and ask.
They'd be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm creating lies. What? Not negative ones. They're called metaphors.
Probably worth it.
They're called metaphors.
NSA's probably tapping them too.
But guys, welcome back. I'm working on just some additional artwork to add to our Indiegogo campaign page. If you've been following our footsteps, you'll see that I've kind of talked about going live in a week, going live in 2 weeks, and we're all kind of excited, but we're still finding things we can improve, so we're being a little cautious with how quick we jump into that. But right now, it's so close, it's driving me a little mad, so it's been fun. What I'm doing here is trying to work out, this is the actual scope of Beckoned. So, out of the whole map, this is the areas that we'll be exploring throughout the story. And the legend at the lower right tells you those symbols are the keys, or are the towns, and then the dungeons, and then the paths to get there. And I'm actually thinking, I was trying to do the path dots representing certain areas in levels. So the number of dots represent the complexity of that level scene and environment. I'm thinking that way. It's because that kind of worked with the pacing of the script. But what we don't have is the final dungeon in here because that's on the other side of the continent. But all over whatever. This is kind of the play space of Beckoned. So like a lot of people have said that it looked really big, overly ambitious, but the reason why is they're seeing that giant world map. And in most RPGs, you explore a whole planet, especially if it's an epic one. Well, this is an epic one, but we're kind of going that multiple game to create the whole story, type stuff. And there's areas to do spin-offs and other things like that too. So it's a lot of fun to give you a really hyper-focused, it's a linear adventure. You'll be going through this kind of like Mario map, world map. But once you get to a certain place, backtracking will be, a thing, and things change after a major event. So people will be, NPCs will have different dialogue. They might have different side quests for you to kind of deepen the story a little bit more. Again, fetch quests. We didn't want to create fetch quests, but what's in the demo right now is just kind of to function as a, hey, we're going to put these things in here too. But yeah, wasn't supposed to represent our full idea on how quests were going to work. But anyway, outside of that,
how's that been going? I haven't really seen a whole lot of discussion. Have there been some extra stuff going on out there?
As far as reviews on Steam, like people talking about it, yes, we did. From a guy named Verser, or goes by Verser. It could be I say guy interchangeably, so don't come at me. Try and open my Steam right now. There it is. But guys, yeah. Did y'all see that Rufio picture I posted? Bang-a-ring! I'll show you guys where it's at. Some of you probably don't remember, or probably didn't see where I'm going with it. So Ken gave me some insight on Reddit after that too. But let me kind of go linearly here with Dwight and go, okay, so back in prototype. Actually, why don't I just share the screen with you guys? What am I doing? Okay, back in prototype, store page.
Alright, I'll read that later.
And then view discussions. And then demo feedbacks was the newest person to talk about things. And I hope they're okay with me, throwing this up here like that. But if you guys are interested in what a real thorough, in-depth, review is, this one was good. There are problems that he addresses. Animations in combat seem fast, when they're in idle. And me and Dwight have been playing with the timing on that. Mainly he has been. And then he brings it to me, and then I'm like, eh. Hitting the combo spells felt uninteractive, and it's. I think a lot of that is the loading switching. Because he says maybe light up the buttons or make them go away in the center. Like, yeah, something just about like more special effects. It needs to look, have more oomph behind it. There's glitches that he's finding, but some of these aren't really glitches as much as, they are. This is the glitch side. And he's just saying things like, the enemy, a lot of health for leveling. So anyway, I answered him in this, and I mean, again, if you guys are bored and you want to go read how we're doing on responding to people, here's my basic answer to a lot of stuff, which you guys have heard me and Dwight talk about a lot on stream, back and forth. Like, the Miglops or gelatinous enemies, there's nothing in the UI that tells you that. It's kind of off of visual cue. In the Final Fantasy games, if I see a gelatinous enemy, I kind of understand that, physical attacks aren't going to work on it. And even if I don't, I'll run up to it and hit it. And when it's not doing a normal amount of damage, yeah, I get it. But the only fightable enemies in our demo are gelatinous enemies. So no one has what's the standard effect of, attack. What's the real power of it. So, but the reason why they're set that way is because I want you to then learn that lesson and then go into the spells and play with that. And so by the end of the demo, you've explored all these different tactics. Maybe you didn't feel satisfied because you didn't get anywhere with it outside of finally beating some things by exploiting what we set up. But there's mechanics in that. There's the blocking. There's this. What kind of potentials do you see in that? There's the button combo casting. That way you can fail at casting a spell. Just off of pacing and all that. The difficulty of the time flow. Should it be constant time or should it be something based on stamina? These things are a lot of what people are talking about, and I love listening to it because it's allowing me to, talk about how this game differs from others, how it's similar to others. And then, it's been great.
So it's given us some extras, and that's what this was supposed to prompt, because putting together
things like this,
at
though,
least what we had to get to this point.
Things like this comment is what we keep kind of experimenting for, though.
Sure.
Gameplay is great. No, really, I feel this could carry the game through with some tweaking. It's a blast when you get in the groove of it. We've heard so many people say that. So it's like, oh, yes, 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 yes. So the demo's working great, or the prototype's working great. I'm super stoked. And I hope everybody else is. This has been a fun few months, if you can hear the sarcasm in my voice. Never thought that the dire circumstance that we all felt we've been in, or feel we've been in for months now, has kind of like pushed so many people to start going online and throwing their talents out and getting out there. Like getting the video cam or the webcam to start doing this show when we were doing it was just, that they were all sold out. Teachers and everybody were buying them. Oh, what's up, Scoot?
Yeah.
I didn't say hi to Scoot.
We were trying to scramble. Heck, I was even going to send you one of the ones that I had.
Right. So it's just been interesting,
but I think that's so. Back
it was the right push. Go ahead.
Those are the items that we're after, to try to just find out where our focus should be when we start going full on and really putting the final effort into what the final game's going to be. And so without some of that extra feedback and thought to what y'all are seeing and what's working, what's not, and so it's been wild that Jeremy and I've probably played this thing 1,000 times each, with all of the various different things along the way that we've done, and so to get to this point, we're like, all right, cool, it's ready, and then to get that feedback from somebody that I click the mouse and nothing happens, I can't even play the game, just makes your heart sink, because you're sitting there going, oh, what do you mean? And it's, we knew what to click, what to press, and where it was, just because we developed it, but we didn't foresee some of the extra interaction that just someone else would have, and so tried to put together some outside groups that we have and get them to help with testing and things, and and it helped, but then it still didn't go far enough, because we pushed this out a month ago, and all of a sudden it was, if I do this, it reacts this way. Things that you just couldn't see until you start getting 100 different people playing. So it's definitely been eye-opening and beneficial for us. Either way, it's still gratifying to have reviews and things like you just saw, and people have an opinion of, well, I don't quite understand this piece, or understand that, or why was it done this way, but in the end, it's, hey, it was fun. I actually can see myself playing it for 20, 30 hours, trying to level up and get somewhere with this. So you got me,
and if people
hooked. So that's what we want to hear.
And if you play RPGs, a lot of the time, the combat system, that's what's interesting, and trying to get you to cultivate your items, to cultivate the story, because these items are locked up behind either enemies, NPCs, stuff like that. And so the game forces you to learn about the world, and inadvertently they're telling you a story why that's happening. So it's game theory, that I'm kind of running off of. And my experience in working with a few different companies and trying to cultivate a story that runs linear with gameplay, not just that runs linear, but it's best if they both affect the other or define the other. So I didn't just simply pick tank and battle mage and healer because those are the standards. I picked them because they're the most effective to the battles we're going to have you guys go through. And instead of the puzzle variances too, but the action and understanding and giving the player clear control over what's going on, and that's what gets us those comments like, once I get in the flow of it, it's fun. And that's what we designed it for, was to really be brutal about just hammering out, making you fail quicker so you got in the flow state faster. But we were too brutal. People would put it down before they would, grind through it a bit. And a lot of that's our tutorial, or lack of tutorial, but, we could be a little bit more. In this, we chose just to be a little bit softer, since we're trying to attract people and not turn them away. But at the same time, this game is gonna be difficult, not just to make, but it's gonna be a challenge. That clock is ticking. Even if we have stamina and not a live clock flowing through constantly, we'll find other ways of making that hard to deal with. You play a lot of games, and then you see what others do, you see what the masters do, and concepts, and then after so long, you start getting some of your own ideas. The trick is those ideas generally are so complex, you need complex systems to back them up. So I want to do really cool stuff, and Dwight's got to be over there and go, nah, too nuts. So find that balance. But a lot of that's planning too. So, and I've been better at planning this than I was ever keeping notes in high school or in college. If I gave those type of energy I gave this, I'd be on Space Force. I'd been meeting the aliens.
You'd be doing something else.
Yeah.
And it just, I want to point out, so like what we're talking about, that those comments are helpful, no matter what's being said, just because it is giving us a sense of what's been done, where we are, where we were.
I should have picked out the harder one.
and there's an amount of gratification just because you've got those comments in there of hey, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe, I'd like to see a few of these changes, but in the end, I actually can see myself having fun. Like just with a prototype, people are having fun with it, and they're enjoying it, and there's the whole idea was to give them a snapshot of where we would like to go with this, and this isn't full done.
No, this is getting
polished.
This is getting before production. Like, this is still considered pre-production. We're still designing how it's going to be built. So we've got a good plan on that now, but that's what this is.
Is it because of some of the polish that we've done, or a lot of the polish that we've done for this? I mean, is it confusing? Is it an amount where they're, like, hey, you all released this on Steam as a prototype demo, and
I think a lot of it has to do with that.
Like they think this is the game, just a piece of it, and we're just gonna keep running with this exact format, and that's it.
No,
that's not the case.
No. This was
that is absolutely not what we're doing.
This was getting the store set up to let everyone know we're serious, because that's all legal stuff. You can't get on Steam unless everything checks out on everything, business license, all that stuff. So that's all set up.
I thought that was also.
Go ahead.
That was also interesting that there's been those comments. I mean, it's the two of you guys, and you're releasing this publicly, and it's just a prototype for you guys that are playing around with this thing, and you're releasing it publicly for feedback. You guys are kind of nuts.
Yeah. Took a lifetime of practice.
Pretty ballsy.
Well, so is going live with the Indiegogo during the holidays. So but there shouldn't be much difference, I mean, in us trying to do that. So we'll see what happens. You all that watch this and follow with us on everything, you'll know when it goes, when it's ready. I'll do a video, talking about it, announcing it, if it's not on a day that we're going live or anything like that, but everybody that's on the email list, you all will know, so if you want to know when we go live, go sign up on our Indiegogo page, which usually Joe and me have these things prepped in our shows, but let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
So why'd your sketch get real blurry?
Because I'm zoomed in a lot. So guys, this is our Indiegogo page that's current right now. If you just go to this email link, or this URL link here, which should be in the description. I'll double check it here in a minute and make sure. If not, I'll throw it down there in the comments right now. And yeah, go ahead, go there to that link and click sign up. Give us your email address so you will be notified as soon as this goes live, and you'll get part of the early bird specials which we got set up for you guys too. And you'll be the first people to know it's going live, and we need you all to know when it goes live, because if you're gonna back us, we need you there day one, day two. Just hit it day one to get it over with and help us and reach that goal. That'd be so incredible. And regardless, still gonna do this, one way or the other. Joe likes to show the trailer for things in his vids, but maybe the live streams, maybe not so much. And I'm only saying that because kind of been cross marketing. Like, we're both trying out similar strategies and seeing what works most effective. So I appreciate his help and appreciate Scoot's help getting some stuff together, and Dwight's help for helping me build this thing, getting us this far, and dealing with me during this time. So it's been fun. Oh, what's up, Fenrix?
So the work on that's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's something we want to get taken care of.
But no, thanks.
But it's just we're winding down to a spot where there's stuff that we could, we could keep tweaking on the prototype and keep tweaking and twisting. But at what point do we just dig in and start figuring out just getting those mechanics polished and figured out for us to start trying to work on the real version and getting our beta figured out.
And Dwight, we did talk about giving certain beta access to certain backers.
Yes,
correct?
we've talked about it.
Okay, I just want to make sure before I kind of talk about it. If you are interested, some of our packages will include the ability to gain access to our builds throughout development that we release, and which are basically put out like Steam keys. And you will have, those of you who get it will have access to that particular build through that Steam key, and all the other ones that we end up putting out there. So we need everybody's help kind of testing this and everything else. And yeah, I do think we're gonna go for a Mac version of this. I think the conversion of it, we're not gonna be really trying to do that until we're solid about our foundation on this build, on this Windows build, and then we'll translate it over into Mac and see if we can't make that happen for everybody. It shouldn't be that hard, or it could all boil down to just hiring the right guy too. So we'll get there when it gets there. But Harry has been playing the new Cyberpunk game, so I'm hoping that doesn't tear his life away, because it seems to be doing that to a lot of players. Because he was telling, I was watching the other night, he was like, he's painting some of his models for his Etsy store, and we're both excited to have the sculpture of Taj finished and have that on the high-end perks. So yeah, t-shirts, a backer coin made of metal that's casted. I showed you guys that. We removed the cup. So no decanter mug cup thing. Just kind of felt like we need to kind of cut down a little bit on our physical rewards. And a lot of that's just feeling, Indiegogo does give you a lot of opportunities and avenues to reach out, even for like making prototypes and stuff. So they offer a lot of good services. So we're feeling pretty comfortable with where we're at right now. So I think we're all pretty excited about it. Bebo Jelly Ranch.
Yeah.
Can we produce this and send Joe a box of them? So Bebo Jelly Ranch, how do we do this?
It doesn't sound stupid, super advertising.
Did I say Fenrix? I meant Fenrix. Do I always mix that up?
What is that? Is that what you said? So this is basically just gonna pop up under the town that you're currently in, or is this like, are you drawing the? Is that what I'm thinking?
I've got two thoughts about the world map. One is using this more realistic, version of it, this topographical write down. But what's fun in some RPGs, you get some sort of idea for what the town's gonna look like or something, and I'm just scribbling down an idea about what a little thumbnail icon of Keth would look like. And I want to be more cartoony with it, kind of like Legend of Mana-ish, a little bubbly, chibi, I guess is the way, like chibi icons of the town, right there. And it's just an idea I'm having. I needed something to draw for stream today that had to do with Beckoned. So, like, here I am with that. But I was talking about this guy earlier. So, Rufio from Hook. And I started that on Wednesday on Joe's stream with just Rufio. But then after the stream was over, I just kept going. So, you all might see a finished one of that soon. But I tweeted that thing to the actor. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure actors get that a lot. I just think it's fun. If you do a drawing of someone, send it to them.
Right.
But maybe I want it like the text coming over it instead of. Let's see, where am I at?
I think that might hide it.
No, it's just all about a little bit placement. But outside of me and Dwight just having discussions about what we are planning to do with this, not the demo build, because we've kind of discussed where we're at with that and where we're going, but like he said, we're starting to make plans on moving to the actual build. We're doing that at the same time we're going to be running a campaign on Indiegogo, so we're trying to get all the planning in bulk done for now. That way all of our focus is on the campaign when it goes live. And I think we're all pretty excited to have this finally happening somehow. Somehow we got there. Maybe it's just me. Dwight's kind of quiet tonight.
My mind's all over the place, man.
So, anybody come up with a toe sock recipe?
No, not yet. That doesn't look too bad with the placement.
Well, I gotta get the colors right too. So.
But I mean, are you thinking like as you select and click through, that'll pop up just kind of like on the selection of, like.
All right. So actually, yeah, good point. I don't know why I'm doing this, because I have a world map screenshot that we showed very early on in the show.
Right.
And I'm going to bring that back up because, it's like I said, a lot of this stuff is just iteration. You do it once, and just because maybe you feel like you've done it well enough, good enough, maybe that's not the best iteration of it, if you get what I'm saying. So try to iterate again and again and again. So here we go. So this is what I had before. And this was the first world map idea I had. So you can kind of see it's a concept image. I fudged out all the detail in the continents. But you can see the edge of the atmosphere appear with a few speckle of stars. And you've got, you know, these UI elements that would pop up as you move Taj from point to point. Right?
Yeah.
So, like Mario, in Mario World, you would push the stick over, and you would just have to hit the button once, and Mario would auto-walk to it. I want this one to feel...
You need to run it, right?
Yeah, you would actually be moving in full movement the whole way. But it is on a track. You know, so you can go a certain degree pushing the left stick to the left, and he'll move along that line. But, like I said, this was an older concept. And what I've got going now is this thought of... Oh, where'd you go? This thought of these dots working as sections. Or representing sections. So, how we have, in the prototype, we have Loden Lacuna. Well, that's just one section of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like, I'm thinking these represent the different sections of the previous node. So there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas to Redmouth before you get to the Valley of the Roads.
But I do like the sprite for kind of the environment. So that I think that's kind of
this.
So that might be neat as to gamify that.
Yeah,
you know,
and
as you're selecting each one, like the sprite of that location pops up.
Yeah, and then we wouldn't need those. It would just be its own graphic here. It could be
and it could just switch. You know, it could turn on and turn off the marker, and then just have the sprite there. And then once you progress to, you know, Redmouth or Valley of the Roads, then you know, that's kind of like your tracker of a nice way of where you're at.
Yeah.
And so when you see that sprite and that icon, then you kind of know that would look pretty good.
It's just getting all the colors miniaturized. What a good way to do this. Show you guys a little cheat trick. I don't like showing my cheats, but I don't mind showing some of them. Let's see, image assets. When am I looking at that? Yeah, I am. So the color scheme of Burketh, and we have concept images of Burketh. So basically, the image would have all the colors I need to basically grab colors from to match that little sprite.
Right.
So if I grab one of those in, shrink it down a lot. And now I've got color swashes. So basically, I drop the color you want for things, such as maybe at the side of this little hut thing, and I can come right in and start popping some, I guess because I've got the inner, no, that was the outer glow. Okay, no. What's my setting, John? Okay, that was a little dull. Maybe I was looking for warmer. But you can see how I can start grabbing colors from the area and just start spotting them in.
Yeah.
And then like for the ground, kind of grab those hot pinks and stuff, and I might have to start doing something else here. Inner glow. Where am I at? Where am I at? I should be doing alright.
Yeah. Oh, that looks good.
Anyway. But, oh, that's why it's not working. I've got another layer to open. Oh. Yeah, what the real big thing that we really want to start evolving on in our gameplay is the multiple characters, the combos, and I think we're still planning on having enemies be able to block and turn break you. Now, one of the
that's just going to take some extra stuff.
One of the criticisms that that we got in that really good review was that like attacks, it didn't matter what direction you attacked from. So what's the point of having the different direction? And again, going back to what Dwight was saying was that, you know, as a prototype and as, you know, just this little example of things, we're trying to see certain basic responses to some core mechanics. And we want to bring in the more advanced stuff because we have really cool ideas of implementing those. And we've said this on this stream time and time and time again. Sorry if I'm, you know, repetitive with it. But combos with the attacks are kind of where that differential comes in.
Yeah. And it's just not in there yet.
The intuitivity of the spell system also isn't there. We just wanted to experiment and see everyone's reaction to maybe casting spells that way. And maybe it's not that interesting in the way we set it out in this prototype. So revisiting, and again, not as an excuse, but more of a kind of an explanation to a lot of people that see an artist lead, you know, kind of leading the project. It's obviously art heavy. If anyone's having any doubts that the project can work because an artist is heading it up, I'm sorry. I'm working my tail off to change your opinions on that. Not that.
But yeah, so
I've been working in small teams for a little while, and they can work. They just have to be done right. So you have to be honest, you have to be genuine, you have to, you know, really care about the customer base, because you can't afford not to, and it, you know, more importantly, it's the right thing to do. So us not being an online game and trying to stick to a single player experience, then it comes to, okay, well, give us a worthwhile single player experience. So then story, depth, mechanical, like finaglery, like you want to play with the mechanics and find out what works, what doesn't, what's, you know, in a puzzle box basically. And MMOs get this title called theme park or sandbox. And I would want to say I'm giving you more of a, you know, a theme park.
But,
you know,
come on, if we get it to a spot where and get some things added where there is some benefit to left, right, and center, and you're able to incorporate and make some different things happen because of that, it makes it a much more dynamic system than just button mash and attack.
right.
And if all I wouldn't feel right if all this was, you know, I mean, yes, you can currently play it just mash and X, and that's it. You know, or mashing the A button on the keyboard, and that is all you have to do. But
that's not fun.
But that's not, and there's going to be extra dynamic to that and reasons for it. So we're not communicating that well right now. And so because we just don't have that mechanic built for where our expectations are. The idea was, and hey, that kind of feedback is good. Because
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Because the honest truth is we've already got that in the back of our mind to have that figured out and to make that work. So the fact that they're pointing it out and they're thinking the same, and that's where their heads are going, that's what we want. Mm-hmm. So that's almost better that way, that we didn't spoon feed everybody with it and put it right there in front of them. Their minds are going where ours are going. So that's almost better.
Well, my intention is that we can grow a community throughout doing our Indiegogo, that when newcomers come in, they can join into this whole thing that we end up doing all the time, that we turn to our weekly, join up group. And having all of you here is amazing, and having such cool people part of the group, and then new people coming in, and an actual community starts to talk about this idea and come around it and get inspired or inspire each other to do things.
There's probably gonna be some darn good suggestions that we didn't think about.
Right. Yeah.
That we're going to have to look at and go, you know what? That's a good idea. We'll find a way to put that in there.
Yeah,
there are others that have been things that we've already discussed and already thought about and just said, we're probably not going to explore that. We're not going to put that in there. But there have been some others that have kind of engaged us in discussion to figure out whether we want to bring that, or how are we going to bring that in. So I definitely want to make sure that everybody understands that it's definitely not blowing anybody off, not discrediting or thinking that their ideas don't have merit and that we're not even going to mess with it. We're definitely going to weigh the option and explore what that is. It's just for the two of us to put forth just, if we were able to build the final game, we would have built it. We wouldn't be here, or we would be here in a different capacity.
If we didn't need your all's help, we wouldn't be here. It's basically the real thing. Let's be honest.
But I mean, like we wouldn't be asking this, that, and the other, and putting a prototype out there. It would be the game. We would already have it on a crowdfund. It would have, hey, here is our game. And if here's our game and we're able to release it and start making money up, then why are we here?
Okay, the industry is interesting because I've been approached by a few people over this project to be basically sign an agreement with a publisher. And I don't want to give it to a publisher until... I really don't want to give it to a publisher if we can avoid it. I would rather try to do our best to... I'm sorry, did I have that screen up this whole time? Sorry.
I don't know what screen you're talking about.
Okay. But... I forgot. It's just... I've been offered a bunch, had been approached about this, from publisher, from people who work at publishing companies, and we're not done getting all of our ideas out, okay? And even at that, I would like to keep it within us.
Hang on to something.
Within us and within our fandom. And have them happy that we still retain what they kind of been attracted to. Do we need help? Yes, drastically. Do we need as many specialists coming onto this as possible? Yes, but we've been learning so much and been applying what we've learned pretty effectively, because just for the two of us to have everything together like we have right now, I'm overwhelmed. You know, not in a positive way. I mean, you know, I'm overwhelmed at what.
No, I agree.
What the support has been. I'm overwhelmed at our abilities. It's been awesome.
Man, I mean, it's not even been 2 years yet, and here we are, and we're on here talking about releasing a crowdfund, and we're talking about a prototype that we've got public out on Steam, and we're talking about things that we've created. And 2 years ago, it was still in a book, and it was just these little snippets and few small pieces that others had helped you with a little bit of a runaround on a screen or something very small, and it wasn't a playable package. Put a controller in your hand and hey, take off, tell me what you think. And now we were there in a year, but it was much more elementary. It was much more basic. And now, we've had this year to take and bring it even further. And so there's items that have gotten kind of corrected, but I still revert back to, there's got to be a point at which, okay, this worked and this worked. We're getting feedback multiple times that this you know, we're not getting it, we're not hitting it home on these items. All right, cool. We'll take that in account, move that into the build of what we're going to develop for the full version, and then start spending time and effort on that. So there's a part of this where we ask some just a little bit of support and understanding that there's going to be a little bit of time between us getting that taken care of, and we've got to start kind of working on that full version instead of doctoring, tweaking, and playing on a prototype. And right. So the idea of the prototype was to engage conversation, to engage ideas. What do y'all like? What don't you like? What would you like to see added to it? What else does it need to have? What did we do well? What did we not do well? I mean, like, so that we can get a much more involved and tailored system when we go and do the real version. I mean, because we could sit here and doctor and play on the prototype and just mess around, and I don't think we want to do that.
No,
you know, I don't. But I want to stress that has been important. That has been good. And I can't say that I haven't read some stuff and been like, you've got to be kidding me, and that's not what this, and that's not that, you know, press this key. But I have to
be humble.
I have to be humble and say, wait a minute, we didn't communicate that, and that was a failure on our part. That was something that we could have done better. We will do better.
Yep.
And you know what? Really appreciate you pointing that out, and that gives us an opportunity to do better. And then, especially for the ones that follow, you know, because the last thing we want to do is just keep repeating. I think Jeremy and I are also like really stoked just for the fact that people are actually playing it. They're finding the hunting map that we put in there for the tracker. That tells us they're getting a certain point through that game, that they're making it through some of the stuff that we wanted them to make it through. They're getting there. That's happening. So that's very important. And
we appreciate that.
You know, they're having fun in the end. Like, one of my favorite comments thus far has been, you know, something along the lines of why this and why that. I really don't quite understand, and you know, why did you cut the demo off right at the boss scene? You know, and then there was like, you could tell there was epiphany, and they go,
Is everybody
I understand.
right? Is everybody okay if I do a full gameplay playthrough, like the old ones that we did before, but and show everything? It's been out enough for people to play it, and I think it might help to have a more up to date, you know, actual playthrough
I
from the
so.
developers.
I think so. And,
You know, I think
so
it could help
it was
them.
just one of those. It's like,
yeah.
hey, you know, you cut it off right here. Why
not,
did you do
Jedi?
that? And they're like,
Why not, Jedi? Why aren't you okay with it?
and it just, and then they realized, they said, you know what, you hooked me. I wanna keep playing. So that was a really good comment to have. I really appreciated that, because you could tell that they're like, hey,
Yep.
I want to keep playing this game, and so when, you know, I'll buy it when you guys release it. Right. So that, man, that's incredible. That's awesome.
It's been a wild ride, man, and it's gonna continue getting more and more interesting as we keep going. So, yeah. And we're getting older. I don't want to be George R.R. Martin still working on this.
Well, it depends.
It does. I'm just trying to get the colors right, because, you know, in my head I see Burketh and so many different, and I'm not even happy with it. You know my problem is I don't have any lighting on it. I have my line work, but I don't have any lighting, and that's what I'm trying to fix. So, lighting done. I can't even make out any of the shapes there, right? So that's what lighting's for, shit. Kids.
You've got 45 seconds.
What? I got 2 minutes. Oh, you're on Texas time. Texas time, Texas toast.
So that takes it back a minute. You lose a minute.
Yeah.
That's
guys, thank you all so much for showing up again, listening to our banter again for this episode. We promise that it gets more interesting as things develop. Hope you enjoyed watching me scribble some sort of blob happening here. But yeah, I'll do a playthrough of the game and post that up. I'll throw up our links again on it. Remember, share with your friends, share with all your buddies. Jedi, you know, get down on your social medias, you talented kid, you. And thank you again, everyone that helps us push this out. Coming soon, and I know if you all want, just keep your eye out for some upcoming advertisements, and want your all's opinions. See if you all would like to see us advertise more stuff. So
that advertising.
But yeah.
Speaking of that,
we'll talk. Guys, thank you all so much for showing up. Hope you all have a safe weekend. Have fun. Do something fun. And we'll see you guys next week. Dwight? Did you say again?
Out.
Alright. Alright, guys. Thank you all again. We love you.
There we go.
Mandalorian. I see that.
Right.